Hi, this is Cindy with Quantum Kaleidoscope. Welcome to December. Can you believe we made it? I don't know. This year has gone by super fast and super slow at the same time. I would say it's a perfect example of how I keep saying time does and does not exist. So I'm going to do a reading for the collective for the month. Just kind of see what's going on energetically. What can we kind of expect? And then later on, I will be posting elemental readings for the month. So make sure to subscribe so that you know when those are uploaded. I will be doing a contest throughout the month of December. My goal is to reach at least 100 subscribers so that I can get a customized YouTube link. So I don't have to have YouTube XY, billion letters kind of thing. Anyways, so I'm gonna do a contest, so make sure to subscribe, okay? But I will be announcing details in the elemental readings, okay? So what can we tell for those who are drawn to this reading? What can we tell them to help them stay in highest vibration and on their truest path throughout December? Hopefully you're doing well. It's starting to snow here. So that's fine. So what can we tell people? Okay. So what we're gonna do, okay, is underneath the deck, okay, is we have the Seven of Cups. Okay, so I mean, I think you're leaving a place of confusion, or at least being like the Seven of Cups, like in terms of a spectrum, okay? Like it's cups, so it's emotional, okay? This is about, kind of being in those emotions, really kind of thinking, you know, a lot about, like what do you want? What are the options? It is about daydreaming. In this case, it does show the moon, right? Okay, so you might have had, a lot of either, again, if it wasn't confusion, it was a lot of kind of daydreaming about like what you want, like what would make you emotionally fulfilled kind of moving forward. Okay, so you in the situation, this can be right now or the theme throughout the month, okay, is that we have the Ace of Wands. Okay, so these cards, I don't know if you've seen the other reading I've done with these, okay, they got damaged by water a while back, and I just had an urge to start using them again. And it's just like I wasn't using them because they were damaged, but I mean, I do feel that this is kind of representative of like, almost being like, through the battle, and having like the battle scars, but like within that, you're coming out with this like inspiration, this new fire, okay? So Ace of Wands represent new beginnings, okay? So I mean, new beginnings in terms of a passionate kind of inspirational sense, okay? So right now, either you right now when you're watching it or throughout the month, okay, you have this fire, you know, going with you, okay, this spark. And it might have been something that you've been like, from daydreaming and, thinking about how, like what would be emotionally fulfilling. It's like now or you're in the process of knowing, okay, but aces can be fleeting, like again, you have to, like when you have that inspiration, you have to go for it or you can miss it, okay? The challenge here, okay, is the World. Okay, so this is a major arcana. So the World is the end of a major cycle in terms of a, evolutionary sense, in terms of like there is some major ending that needs to happen or that, that is, causing you a challenge, okay? But like once you do, like, I mean, it looks like because of this, like if you haven't been feeling very inspired right now, like if you haven't felt like you are, you have that spark, it could be because, you know, you're stuck in some kind of cycle that needs to potentially end, okay? And, so that you can, level up, okay? So that you can get your experience points, okay? And then start a whole brand new cycle, okay? So there is newness all around you, okay? So maybe you have been kind of still stuck in your head and daydreaming about the possibilities, okay? Because, like, the one thing about when it's a daydream, right? Where it kind of feels like a fantasy, it's like it can, you know, be challenging to end the cycles that you need to end. Like, the world can represent like a trip too, for example, like seeing the world or whatever the case is, But if you already, like, when things stay in that daydream, right, it's like anything is possible, right? But like now there looks like there's an opportunity for some newness, okay? But there's a major cycle that, again, that could take a while to play out. Like, the world can take a long time to play out, okay? Depending on kind of what cycle you were ending right now, or which way you were, like, what kind of, you want to say like evolution, like what is evolving in your life kind of thing, right? Okay, so you have some kind of inspiration, and maybe because you haven't ended something that you may need to end, you might be staying in some kind of dream, state, because, at least there any possibility can happen, right? But I mean, there is a cycle that is being encouraged, okay? And so what we have, okay, is, so kind of like subconsciously or whatever, is the Page of Cups. Okay, so this is about following your heart. Okay, so I think, okay, this is emotions, right? This is water energy. Okay, this can represent a person, and it can represent somebody younger, for example, but this is somebody who, again, follows their heart, communicates, from the heart, okay? With a page, this can be, some kind of emotional gesture. Potentially, like, it can't even be something as like an apology, okay? So if there was something that that you need to end some kind of cycle, like maybe give some kind of apology, there is something about, like, what is your heart calling you to do, okay? In the recent past we have here is the Ten of Cups. Okay, so something recently, and again, like, this could have been the other day, this could have been like a couple of months ago, or whatever the case is. Like, there seemed to be some kind of ending on an emotional sense. Okay, so there could have been something that ended in terms of, like, the Ten of Cups is that, like, happily ever after. It is a completion, right? Like, but if this is in the past, it's like, and with the, the Page of Wands, the Page of Cups. So there's two pages here, okay? So that's two new, like, fire, new inspiration, okay? And so I guess I said this was the Ace of Wands before, but this is the Page of Wands, okay? So that is like that, can be that emotional message. There's something that you might need to end because you realize that it's no longer fulfilling, or maybe there was an ending in the past, but now it's really about wrapping up the cycles, once and for all, like the loose ends, okay? And what consciously, okay, or what your higher self might be telling you, okay, is that this is the Five of Swords. Okay, so this is definitely, like, I mean, again, if you need to apologize to somebody, or there's a basis of, like, making things right, okay, this can represent that that there is some conflict. This can represent, that selfishness, like, do you know that you were selfish, for example, or something that, like, you won, but, like, at what cost? Now, granted, this can also be, on the other hand, about that healthy selfishness, where you have to fight for what you want. Like, look at her. She's ready to, like, go for that, like, vampire or whatever the case is, and, like, no matter what. So there is something about, this is also change, right? This is air. Okay, you've had emotions and a lot of emotions and fire kind of thing. So this is now about some thought. So about, potentially know that there is some kind of change in your thought process that might need to happen where you are either putting yourself first, despite the odds or despite the what is happening around you, or that there is a conflict that needs to end, okay? And with the world being there in terms of ending, like this may not be like in terms of, again, ending something for good, but it is about, like, no matter what with the world, if you've learned your lessons, you are leveling up, you know, whatever whatever is happening, okay, with you, for example, like, and with another. Because, I mean, we have the 2 pages here, so there is definitely a suggestion. And even with the 10 of Cups, like, I mean, there are people around in some capacity. So it is about, like, of either evolving with this person and starting something fresh with the page energy, or with the cups energy that's fresh, that's new, that's childlike, again, you know, or it's about, again, just ending the cycles so that you can have a fresh start, wherever that might be. Okay, and where this is heading to you is the 3 of Cups. I like this 3 of Cups. This is like the Mad Hatter, and it's like a tea party. Okay, so this is celebration. This can be reunion. Do you have like a party coming up or something like that? So this can be like, I mean, for example, especially with the world, like, I mean, maybe there's some kind of challenge in terms of getting to your destination, maybe, or something like that, but you were going to have success. You're going to have a reunion. Okay, but this is going to be happy. Okay, so I do think that, like, if there is some kind of conflict with another, that you're trying to resolve, it does look like it can have a really good outcome. There you can be celebrating. This is friendship. This is, again, reunion. This can be a party. Okay, so I mean, if there's some kind of conflict, I don't know, end what you need to end, make your, balance the scales, whatever you need to do. Like, I mean, 5 of Swords can also be about really, because, again, if you won, but at what cost? Or even if the other person won, kind of thing, won. Like, it is about having another perspective, like changing that mindset, as well as sometimes, like, putting the ego aside, so that that things can be balanced. Sometimes we just need to close these cycles once and for all, regardless if there's anything that is happening, with a friendship or a partnership moving forward. But I mean, it does look like there is some, like, a positive reunion kind of thing, or this can just represent, again, the holidays, like maybe there's been some challenges with, okay, with the pages, you could have kids, and it could be a challenge of, like, maybe trying to see family or making it home or whatever the case. Like, there's so many travel restrictions right now, but you got to do what's right for you. Anyway, so what kind of guidance can we give, or what's the takeaway message for anyone who's been watching this video? Okay, so we have the Strength, okay, which is another major arcana. So you have the Strength and the World. So this is about having passion. This is about having the strength. This is about having that, like, again, look at her. You have the Lion, and you have her who's pretty delicate and, innocent in a lot of ways. And it's like, taming that lion, right? That beast within, but also, working with that beast to kind of get what you want. Okay, what you have here is the 9 of Cups. This is like that personal wish. This is feeling great. Okay, this can, this does come, before the 10 of Cups, right? So it's like, in order, for example, if you are looking for a new partnership, for example, it is, you know, suggested that, one needs to be in this 9 of Cups energy, kind of like that, okay, I'm good. I'm in my, wish fulfillment. I'm feeling awesome kind of thing, right? And then another person kind of comes along, you know, where you have two people who are, you know, equally, you know, abundant and equally perfect within each other or within themselves, and then they come together, for example, right? But this is about, you know, encouraging you to have strength to go after what would be your wish, what would make you emotionally fulfilled. Okay, and like between the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Cups, we have the Eight of Cups. Okay, and when you think about how the world is the challenge, okay, so it's like what is keeping you away from your wish fulfillment is actually leaving emotionally, at least in that, like going on that spirit quest. You know, the Eight of Cups is being like, okay, after the Seven of Cups, after I've been doing all that time reflecting, all that time, you know, thinking about my options, fantasizing about the possibilities, okay? And it's like, okay, great. With the Eight of Cups, you've like, oh, I spent so much time, you know, building up this emotional, you know, structure, for example, but it's not going to go to the Ten of Cups, okay? It's not going to go to the Ten of Cups, you know, like whatever that was, like it was emotionally fulfilling at one point, you know, but there was an ending, okay? So in order to get to this, you know, this Ten of Cups, it's like, okay, I've been reflecting, I've been, you know, fantasizing, now I know, and now I'm going for it. Now, the thing is about the Eight of Cups, right, is that you generally don't see where they're going. You just know that they know that where they are leaving on an emotional sense, okay? Like a person, place, or thing, you know, it's like, it's no longer fulfilling. So I'm going to take that journey. I'm going to see the world. You know, I'm going to evolve so that I can get my, you know, so I can be personally happy, you know, and if finding another person is the goal too, it's like the next step is going after your wish. So I do believe that like this is it's going to be an interesting month. Like, I mean, I do think that with the page energies, there's going to be a lot of excitement, okay? You know, and so, but I mean, like, there's some kind of ending or some kind of trip that will really kind of, you know, close this cycle on a karmic sense, on an evolutionary sense, once and for all, so that you can have this bright, new, fiery beginning. So it's really exciting. So, I mean, maybe December, you know, is still kind of in the, you know, you know, fantasizing kind of space, but ultimately, like, I mean, you have the power within you to go through this process, to close these cycles, you know, how quickly or as slow as you want. Okay, so if you're clear on what you want, you know, like this is something that could, you know, take a couple of days, or it can take the whole rest of the year or longer, you know, it's really up to you, but you have the power, you have the strength, and you fucking rock. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe or like if this was helpful, and stay tuned in the next day or two or so as I start loading the elementals for December. Okay, thanks so much and have a great month. Take care.